Well, several young boys have experienced botched circumcisions in the last initiation season. This has prompted the Commission for the Promotion and Protection of the Rights of Cultural, Religious and Linguistic Communities to meet with about 200 families whose young men experienced botched circumcisions during the initiation season. Several young men in Phalaborwa experienced problems during the rite of passage to manhood. At least 11 initiates have died in the Eastern Cape from dehydration, septicemia and gangrene. A further 119 were treated in hospitals across the province for circumcision-related complications. In Limpopo, an 8-year-old boy died in one of the initiation schools due to epileptic complications. At least 2,000 boys were also registered in that particular school, and 290 had emergency complications. We're now joined via Zoom by Dr. Kgoshi Mathupa Mokoena, who's the president of CONTRALESA, to weigh in on these developments in the last initiation season. A very good afternoon to you, sir. Thanks so very much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you very much, Flo, and thanks for having me.
All right, so let's talk about this issue of botched circumcisions. It's obviously very alarming that we're still having to face these sort of problems, especially when it comes to the well-being of the growth of these individuals. What is the procedure when dealing with these issues, and when they come up? How do you deal with them?
Flo, I must say it is so regrettable that we tried everything in our power to tell people on how to conduct this ritual. But unfortunately, people decide to do whatever they want to do. And some of this carnage that happened at our schools, it happened, unfortunately, at some of the schools that are not registered, that didn't have any permits. But someone decided to continue and open the school. All this is because people did not follow what we said. But at the same time, Flo, I want to say, as traditional leaders, we cannot always point a finger at someone else. We also shoulder some of the blame because we are supposed to monitor as to what is happening in there. And if, as Kgoshi Mokoena, I gave someone a permit to run a school, but I end up not going to monitor or even to send my team to go and look at what's happening there, some of these things will not be identified. Yeah. Secondly, Parliament this time, not our government, but Parliament must shoulder the biggest blame here, because CONTRALESA attended all the public hearings. In those public hearings, we made some proposals on how to monitor this ritual. Unfortunately, all our proposals were thrown away, hence we are in this challenge which we are now. Because what we suggested is that let's allow traditional leaders to run this thing. Yes, let's have a committee, but this committee must consist of people who know this culture, people who have been there, so that whatever challenge, if it happens, you know what to do. But unfortunately, Parliament, because they listened to some NGOs, who are some of them from Cape Town University and so on, who has never been in this school, who knew nothing about it, but read about it. They listened to those inputs and threw our suggestions away. In this act, this is there now. All our inputs have been thrown away. Because when we're talking about age, talk about screening, and even who are supposed to monitor whatever is happening there, all those were thrown away, Flo.
Yeah. Kgoshi, I want to talk about the role of parents in this regard, and one cannot ignore the role that parents should be playing. If I'm to send my son to one of these initiation schools, there'll be quite a lot of homework and background research that I'd be doing prior to doing so. Are parents not doing that? Are some of the parents not making sure that the initiation schools that they are sending their sons to are properly equipped, properly managed, have the correct certification? I mean, is there also we don't want to do a lot of finger pointing at this point, but there certainly needs to be some blame put on a lot of people, and maybe we should also be looking at our parents doing enough to make sure that their children are being sent to proper initiation schools. And what sort of homework actually should parents be doing?
Flo, you're a star. You're a star, Maggie. Thanks very much for that question. Indeed, some of us parents, I will take my son to the mountain. that will be the end of it. I won't even go there to check how is my son doing. Let's assume and accept that some of the parents are not practicing this culture. But it happens that your son wanted to go there and you made it happen that the son go there. Now, it is simple. You simply get someone who know about this culture. You task this person to go and monitor either on daily basis or after 2 days or so to check what's happening. Because Flo, you are correct. I am the only person, if my son has gone to that school, who knows the challenges that my son had before going to school. Some of the boys in Tabara provinces, as you are aware, they are above 18, some are 24, 25 years. Some of them, they went to the school already, they are sexually active. If as a parent, I don't notify the principal of the school that my son has got this sickness, so that he must continue taking the treatment even when he is at the mountain. You can't deprive that student to take his medication. But some parents are hiding this information from the principal of the schools. But as parents, I agree with you, Flo, we are also here to take the blame because we are not monitoring. And if you see that this person is not running the school as per the prescript or as according to the culture, you are free as a parent to the powers that to say to the powers that be that I've been to the school, I noticed that how the school is being run is not what I know. Now if we get that kind of information, we will be the first one as traditional leaders, as CONTRALESA, to recommend to the MEC or the minister to say, let's shut down the school and take those initiates to a school that is run properly. Flo.
Yeah, Kgoshi, the other issue that I have is the fact that, okay, we have the deaths that we're dealing with, and obviously we speak about that. And then we have these young men who, we hear that they have these sort of illnesses, they have gangrene and, can make no use any longer of their, I don't even know what to call it, politically correct. But, these young men will then live with these scars for the rest of their lives. And I can imagine how damaging that can be to the psyche or psychology of a young man to be growing up with that sort of scarring. Are we talking about any level of support, counseling, after the fact when these things have indeed happened for those who are scarred in this way?
Thanks that's a calculated and dynamic question, Flo. Indeed, our boys are going to the mountain to learn on how to be men, and are going there to learn about how to conduct themselves when they are out there, when they are men. But unfortunately, when they come out with those kind of arrangement that you are saying, it is regrettable, Flo. Yes, there are times where the Department of Social Development and even of Health had to come on board, even to assist in counseling not only these young men, but even the parents, because this boy would be afraid even to go and meet his other colleagues simply because of what happened to him. And as the president of CONTRALESA, there is no way I'll sit here, Flo, and try and sugarcoat this thing. It is bad. Hence, we said to the law enforcement agencies, if anyone is found to have violated all these things, law must take its course and they must punish these persons. We're not going to support those kind of nonsense, for the lack of a better word. If someone will really treat our boys as if they are at their soldiers, they train how to shoot and all that.
Yeah.
We are saying all the Ingoma holders and all of us, let's take responsibility. As a Kgoshi, I must monitor what's happening. As a parent, send people to go and check what's happening. And government, please give us support and run workshops to all our traditional surgeons so that they know on how to do these things. In Mpumalanga, for example, what is good about it is that we are on speed dial with our doctors. Hence, we have a clean record in this part of Bushbuck Ridge here. It's a zero death. It's because the doctors were combat ready. Whenever we see something, we'll call them. They'll be there immediately, at whatever time. But unfortunately, in other provinces, they said, no, we can't use doctors because this is culture, this is tradition. Hence, we're losing so many boys, unfortunately, and we are against it as CONTRALESA.
All right. Kgoshi Mokoena, thanks very much for your time. I will certainly be asking and continuing to hold you and also the parents accountable as the time goes on, as we do certainly report on all of these fatalities and injuries of these young boys who do go to these initiation schools. Thanks very much for your time, sir.
My pleasure. Thanks very much, Flo.
All right. That is Kgoshi Mathupa Mokoena, who's the president of CONTRALESA.